Good evening. Today, the 21st of March, is World Down Syndrome Day. Down syndrome is a genetic condition whereby an individual has an extra copy of chromosomes 21. The day was declared in 2012 by the United Nations General Assembly to raise public awareness on the condition. To commemorate the occasion, the School of the Exceptional Child organized an activity to acknowledge the 15 students at the school who are living with Down syndrome. It began with a National Assembly at the school, followed by tree planting and a forum where the parents shared how they learned about their child's condition, the difficulties they face, and their wish for the child in the future. Elisette Racombo, the special need coordinator at the school, says they are forming a support group for parents so they can support each other. And to better support the children with Down syndrome and their parents, an association has been formed. It's called Me and You Foundation and was launched this morning. It has a board made up of 6 women. It has a program of activities to get the children out of their comfort zone and mingle with others. It has the support of the Elderly and Disabled Division in the Department of Family Affairs, several sponsors and individuals. President Wevel Ramkalawan shared his experience on how he achieved a successful career in a group of with a group of around 40 young professionals at State House this morning. This was during the first session of Think Tank, a program of the National Youth Council, SNYC, to connect young professionals with high-level officials. SNYC expects to conduct a session every 2 months with officials from different sectors. During this first session, President Ramkalawan advised the young professionals to stick to their principles and to not give up easily when faced with challenges.
The session was actually really amazing. The president has shared a lot of great points that I think will help a lot of the youngsters as well. And all in all, I think I came out with a lot of great quotes and a lot of inspiration from the president, from his past journey to where he is now. And one of the biggest things that he has shown us is that we cannot give up on our dreams and goals, and that we must always strive forward towards achieving what we want to achieve in our own lives. The main point that stuck with me was when he said, to take 2 steps back, don't be afraid of regression so that you could move forward in your life. I really like that point because sometimes we always find ourselves always trying to do better and always trying to move forward in life, but sometimes we need to take 2 steps back to reevaluate, reassess so that we can actually propel ourselves more forward. So I think that was one of the most brilliant points he could have passed.
Local author and poet Ruben Lespoir has released 2 other books. Isme and Kusma Karin is the title of the books that he presented to the Secretary General of the Institute of Heritage and the Arts, David André, Principal Secretary for Education, Myrna Hulantin, and others who have worked closely with him. The event took place at the National Library this morning. Residents of Cascade and Providence are being invited to participate in a meeting with government officials next week to discuss the country's solid waste project. The project will consist mainly of the improvement of the Providence landfill, amongst other components, to promote sustainable solid waste management practices and circularity in Seychelles. The Seychelles government is expected to benefit from a $5 million loan from the World Bank, which will finance the 5-year project, which is due to start later this year. The meetings, which will also involve other entities and partners, is a requirement for the loan.
We are still in consultation with World Bank, and the project is being finalized, and it is supposed to be approved maybe during June of this year. We expect that the project will run for 5 years. So we know that solid waste management is one of the issues that the country faces at the time being, and one of the priorities of the government is to try and address the issue. We've reached out to World Bank so as to get technical as well as financial support so as to be able to implement an integrated solid waste management project within the country. The project is supposed to have three main components. One of the components will focus mainly on the improvement of the current landfill. So it is a design, build, and operate component whereby we have new infrastructure, new management of the landfill being introduced and implemented. The second component relates to circularity, improvement of circularity within the sector. So encouraging more people to go into waste management businesses so as to try and gain more through this sector. And also the third component relates to the project management and implementation of the project. We are reaching out to our stakeholders. We will have two meetings. One will include a public meeting next week so as to introduce this project to the general public and also give them more information on the different components and how they will be affected by this project. And also we will meet with our main stakeholders, those that are affected or that will be directly affected, for example, residents of Cascade, businesses, waste contractors, redeem centers, ministries and departments.
Tomorrow there will be two final meetings for contractors and potential contractors who wish to tender for cleaning contracts from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, as well as cleaning and beautification contracts from the Landscape and Waste Management Agency, LWMA. The final meetings will take place at the Baha'i Center at Baie Sainte-Anne-Pralin for Pralin and Ladi contractors. Earlier this week, similar meetings were organized at the ICCS on Mahé for Mahé contractors, where they were informed about new elements and requirements in the contracts. The meetings are being organized by the Technical Support Section, also known as the Central Procurement Unit in the Department of Finance, along with the LWMA and other partners. The government, through the Ministry of Finance, is raising 85 million rupees through a 5-year Treasury bond. This is in line with the government's strategy to lengthen the maturity of its debt profile and meet market demand for such instruments. Mr. Diclabonte, the Director General of Debt Management Division in the Department of Finance, explains.
And it will be a coupon, a fixed interest rate of 5.0% per annum. And the coupon rate will be paid semi-annually in June, on the 15th of June and the 15th of December. The auction application window is now open since Monday, and it will close on Monday, the 25th of March at 8:30 a.m. Application form can be downloaded on the central bank website, and investors are encouraged to participate in the auction. The bond will be used as part of government financing strategy to finance budget process.
The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the development project at Amitié Grand-Anse-Pralin, a project which would include various recreational facilities such as restaurants, artisanal kiosks, and a stage for cultural shows. These projects form part of various other decisions which the Cabinet of Ministers took yesterday.
In a meeting chaired by President Wilbur Romkalawan, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the development of an Education for Sustainable Development (ESD) policy and strategy for Seychelles. This policy will give learners of all ages the knowledge, skills, values, and capacity to address interconnected global challenges, including climate change, inequality, and loss of biodiversity. Cabinet also approved amendments to the Registration of Business Names Act as per the Draft Registration of Business Name Amendment Bill 2024. The amendments in the bill are designed to accommodate the transition towards a more digitally driven business environment. The Cabinet approved a policy for a law that will grant the Attorney General the authority to offer individuals who have committed minor offenses the options of paying a penalty in excess of the fine prescribed for that offense instead of facing criminal prosecution for such offense. This law will primarily apply to offenses subject to a fixed penalty where the offender has failed to remit the penalty within the given time limit. Cabinet also approved proposal to draft the Non-Bank Credit Granting Institutions Bill that will govern the credit institution that perform lending and other activities based on a special license. A decision was also taken for an amendment to be made to Schedule 1, Part 1, Imports of the Value Added Tax Act to include provision to exempt VAT on raw materials used to produce VAT-exempt supplies. This exemption will be applicable for local manufacturers producing such VAT-exempt supplies. In terms of the approval given by the Cabinet for a development project at Amitié Grand Transpoilin, plots will be tendered out for interested developers. The Enterprise Seychelles Agency ESA will administer the site, which will cater for many recreational facilities.
We've come to the end of this news summary. Thank you for watching.